thank you all for coming tonight. Yeah, Oktoberfest. We all know it well, don't we? Those of us who've been there.
Nope.
Well, even if you don't know it, soon you'll know something about it. But I'm sure many people in this room have already been there. But what I'm going to tell you about is several unusual experiences I had all on one trip to the Oktoberfest. So, one morning I got dressed up in Bavarian Tracht. Fine. Went to the U-Bahn. Brilliant. Except, oh, I was running late. So I ran like a headless chicken to the U-Bahn. The doors closed. No problem. There was a bunch of drunks already drunk. I think it was 9 in the morning. And they're all there. I froze it, I froze it. And they were looking out at me and going like... And they all just turned around and went... That's right, they hung a moon. They actually did. It was the start of a very unusual day. So that was okay, I got on the next U-Bahn, no problem. So I go in, and this was the time 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer. It was bloody cold. It was very cold. In fact, they were selling Glühwein at the Oktoberfest. And yeah, you can imagine. Anyway, my friends weren't there yet, so I said, okay, screw it. I'm not going to go into a beer tent, I'm going to wait for them. So I went into a cafe itself, a coffee tent. And I go in the coffee tent and I just look around, and there's a bunch of people dressed up in what some people would say would be Halloween costumes. But it wasn't really Halloween costumes, it was actually a stag party. Yeah. And there was one guy sat down dressed up as Father Christmas. And next to him, I don't know how many of you heard of Knecht Ruprecht. Exactly, Knecht Ruprecht, and all the rest of the guys were dressed as elves. And they all had Glühwein. And they were going like, ah. And then Father Christmas looks at him like, verdammt nochmal, sollte es jodeln, we're in Bayern. And then like, the whole cafe itself was quiet. And then a couple of people like, yodeling, going on like this. Like, okay, you know, everything was casual, no problem, everybody was relaxed. Fine, okay. I also was antisocial and had a Glühwein, okay. And then I went into the main tent. Which tent, I have no idea anymore. I'll make an admission here. I'm not a big fan of beer. I'm not. Matt hit the nail on the head when he talked about Canadian beer. I generally don't like beer, but since I've lived here many years, I do like beer now. Before I hated it, now I like it. So that's already an accomplishment.
Yeah! Yeah!
So, I go in this tent, and I'm sat there with my friends, and of course, prosit, 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 and of course the clink, 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 clink. Okay. No worries, that's normal. Then, there's this guy who I have no idea who he is, where he's from. He was from somewhere else. And he was just looking around. He was just looking around. And he sees a beautiful woman and his jaw just goes clump. Now, you're probably thinking I'm talking about myself, but no, I'm not. So, anyway, he catches her eye, and they just look at each other. And it's beautiful to behold, watch them looking at each other, and they're both sort of shy and smiling. It's from a distance. You know that song, From a Distance. Da, 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 da. Well, it was just like this, the way they looked at each other. And I'm just sat there drinking my beer going, yeah, I can see where this is heading. Right?
Krankenhaus.
No. Actually, it ends most unexpectedly. But anyway, drinking away, and then suddenly the guy next to me just gets up on the table, jumps up on the table, and starts dancing around the table trying to catch her attention. And he's keeping his eyes on her as he's dancing, and he sees she's laughing and smiling, and she's sort of blowing kisses at him. And her friends, they're killing themselves laughing. They're like, wow, this is like pure living theater going on here. And anyway, he doesn't pay attention. He's just like, oh, she's sexy, she's hot, and all he's doing is like, yeah, I gotta keep her attention. I gotta keep her interested. There's millions of guys here. I gotta keep her attention. And suddenly he falls. He forgot the tabletop ended. Yes. He was quietly carried out.
He got her attention then.
Well, actually, she came out after him.
To the Krankenhaus?
I don't know if she went with him to the Krankenhaus or anything like that. I don't know. But it was an amazing experience, because shortly thereafter there was this guy. I think it must have been one of the guys in the cafe zelt, because I heard a loud yodel. And he was only wearing his underwear and running around and being chased by security guys. I'm thinking like, my God. I mean, I've seen lots of weird shit in my time. I know I'll see a lot more. But that was a very memorable day at the Oktoberfest, I can certainly tell you that. But what's important, this is going a little bit off topic. I know I don't have much time, but all I will say is, look, if you have people you love or people you care about, try and spend time with them. Because nobody knows how long you got. Woo! Please do so.